The Phoenix Suns beat the LA Clippers 111 to 109 in a game where it probably shouldn't have been a 2-point game, but we're facing a Clippers team that's in form, that's currently the 5th seed. So it is nice to see us take wins, beat good teams, and we are on a 8-2 run, which is probably one of the best runs we've had since the start of the season. But honestly, just to start off with, I feel like we have to talk about the game, the way that we played certain players. And, you know, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker both combined for 50. As I said previously, and I'll always say, them guys are reliable. Them guys will always give you points. Them guys will always score at least half your points. And today, they basically scored half of our points. Devin Booker with 26 points. Kevin Durant with 24 points. 47% shooting from Kevin Durant, 42% shooting from Devin Booker. You know what you're going to get from them. And tonight, they were amazing. Also, the role players as well. Shout out to Royce. Shout out to Tyus Jones with 17 points. 17 points, shooting 60% from the field. Grayson Allen, 18 points. Once again, shooting 60% from the field. 4 out of 7 from threes. Tyus Jones, 5 out of 8 from threes. Honestly, this is what we've asked for from our role players. And the past few games, I'll be honest with Grayson Allen, and I'll be honest with myself, I did want Grayson Allen traded for picks because I felt like we haven't seen the Grayson Allen that we saw last year with the amount of threes he was hitting, with the amount of open looks he was getting, the amount of shots he was creating, the amount of shots he was making. But I feel like this year and these last few games, these last few stretches, we've seen the better version of Grayson Allen. We've seen him come back to his 3-point form. We've seen him actually drive at the bucket, drive at the rim. We've seen him also create shots for his teammates. So honestly, this is the Grayson Allen we need, not only now, but also in the playoffs. Obviously, last year he was injured, not really on him. But we saw how he was at the Bucks when it came to the playoffs. So it's something that Grayson Allen, if he can perform from now until the end of the season, as well as perform in the playoffs, then 100% he's a great player that we should be keeping because he's one of the reliable 3-point shooters that we have. Royce O'Neal tonight, again, 11 points. And I feel like Royce, these last few games, ever since he came back from his injury, he was poor, let's be honest. He wasn't really shooting the way that we saw him shoot before that injury, the amount of threes he was hitting. But tonight, again, 3-pointers shot was 8 and he made 3 of them. Like, obviously, he's shooting above 35%. That's all we really need. All we really need. We're not going to expect Tyus to be hitting 62% from 3 or Grayson Allen to be hitting 57% from 3 every night. But all we ask them to do is for them to perform their role. And defensively as well, I feel like Royce O'Neal brings a dynamic to this team. Again, he's one of those players that he actually does defend. He puts his heart into it. He has his size. You know, he has the grit. He can defend on the perimeter. He can grab boards for you when you need it. And Royce O'Neal is a player where he's a perfect type of player that the Suns need. Obviously, we probably need a few more athletics, a few more size. But Royce O'Neal, what he brings you a consistent 3-point shooter. Defensively, he will hustle, he will fight hard, and throughout his career, he's always been a 3 and D player, and that's exactly what Royce O'Neal showed last night. Nick Richards, for me, he did have a tough night last night. Only 6 points. He did grab 7 rebounds, but Zubac did really show him levels. Zubac last night with 25 points, 16 rebounds. Honestly, like, I feel like Nick Richards obviously is a good player, but sometimes his IQ is lacking, and that's what a lot of Hornets fans said. And to be honest, you can see that from, if you're actually watching his tape, you can see that as well. Sometimes he goes for blocks when there's no need, and it ends up with him getting in foul trouble. Sometimes he don't help out the guard. Sometimes they don't close out threes from the big where they can shoot threes. But Nick Richards, again, you can't really complain. Only his 4th or 5th game. He's had a few good games, had a few poor ones, but he will get better and he will build. And, you know, I feel like once he gets a capable centre partner, because obviously Mason Plumlee played last night, and it's funny because when you're looking at the plus minus, he's plus 22, but when you're looking at the points, he has 0 points. When you're looking at rebounds, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. It's not like he done anything amazing. 3 blocks, which to be fair is quite big, 3 blocks. But other than that, it's not like he really did much, you know. As a centre, when you're playing with Devin Booker, when you're playing with Kevin Durant, when you're playing with Tyus Jones in the form that he played last night, you're going to need to finish the open looks that you got. But he didn't. And you know what? That sometimes happens. But for Plumlee, it's been happening way too much. Also didn't get any minutes Yusuf Nurkic, we know his dilemma. He came out the other night. He was talking about how he hasn't spoken to Coach Bud in a while. He was talking about how he's not a problem. He was talking about how he's been labelled as a problem, and he doesn't want to add chaos to a place where it's apparently already chaotic, which obviously it is chaotic. Let's be honest. Let's not beat around the bush. But Yusuf Nurkic, the way Yusuf Nurkic talks is like he has the level of Kevin Durant. But no, you're not. You're Yusuf Nurkic. Know your role, know your play. And the thing is, I was actually an advocate of bringing Yusuf Nurkic back to this team, back to the starting lineup. You know what? Let him play. Let him be the backup center. But if you're putting out comments like that, and if Bud is not speaking to you, Bud has no reason to have a problem with Nurkic straight away. And Bud actually flew out to visit Nurkic before he came coach and before he started his role, to speak to him, to engage with him, to understand how he wants to play, to talk about how important he's going to be for our team. Now look what's happening. They're not even in the rotation. So Yusuf Nurkic is a problem that we do have to get rid of. But one player I wanted to speak about before this video does end is Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal, again, I like the player. I like him as a person, and I think he's a good player. But when you're coming off the bench and you're the second string and you're leading the second string, you're only getting 9 points. You're being paid £50 million a year to be getting 9 points off the bench. And it's not even like he played 10 minutes. He played 33 minutes and he's getting 9 points. We need better from Bradley Beal. If he's going to stay, we need him to be a better bench player. We need him to be a better role player. Now, you're thinking, how can a 50 million player be a role player? All we're asking him to do is lead the second string. We know he's a great scorer. We know he can make his shots. We know he can create for other people. All we ask him to do is do that coming off the bench. I do think he will get traded come February the 6th, which is the trade deadline. But Bradley Beal has to be doing a lot better, because 9 points in 33 minutes. You're meant to be leading the second string. You're meant to be showing players like Grayson, Allen, Royce O'Neal, helping out guys like Mason Plumlee when you're coming on. You're meant to be leading the scoring. They shouldn't happen to be, leading the way for you. You're a £50 million player on a big contract. And don't get me wrong, what Suns fans have been doing to him, whether it's online, whether it's in person, is absolutely dreadful. They shouldn't be doing that. At the end of the day, it's not his fault that he has that contract. It's not his fault that teams don't want him due to that contract. At the end of the day, if you're earning £50 million a year, you better get your £50 million a year. But all we ask from you is to stay professional, stay consistent, carry on getting your buckets, carry on working hard on defense. Don't give up on the team, because last night, all we needed from him was another 10-15 points. And the thing is, Bradley Beal can go and get you 25 points, 30 points. Whether it's off the bench or whether it's him starting, Bradley Beal can get you that. But when he's not getting you that, what's the point of having someone worth 50 million on your team? It don't make sense. That's the last point. But all in all, a great win. A fabulous win against the Clippers, who, are in the 6th seed. They're 26 wins, 20 losses. The Suns are the 8th seed next game against the Timberwolves. If they can beat the Timberwolves, then they go above the Timberwolves. Currently, we have 24 wins, 21 losses, 8-2 run. We've got a few decent games. We've got the Timberwolves. I believe we've got the Warriors as well coming up. So these are games where you're facing potential playoff teams. You build your momentum. You build the good habits. If we can get trades into this team before the deadline, then 100% we have a chance of contending. When you have Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, you always have a chance of contending. But we go onto the Timberwolves game. We try get a win. We try different schemes. Obviously, I feel like in the 4th quarter, there are problems. I feel like Bud has to make sure that the ball is in Kevin Durant's hand. Get the ball to Kevin Durant's hand in the 4th quarter, in the clutch, and he will make plays happen. He'll make things happen. He'll get you buckets. But all in all, a good win against a very good Clippers side. Make sure to comment down your thoughts below. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all of that. And I've been Najib Talk Suns, and I'm out. Peace.